So there has been a massive update in the Bricks and Minifigs scandal, and this time it involves Reckless Ben. Now, if you don't know what's been going on for whatever reason, here's a quick 2-second rundown. Basically, Bricks and Minifigs stole $200,000 worth of Lego. That isn't the actual price, but that's what was claimed. Reckless Ben made a load of videos on it, and now they're trying to get the Lego back for Brian, and he still hasn't had his money or Lego yet. If you want to catch up, all the videos are on the channel, but make sure you leave a like, hype the video, it spreads the message out far and wide, subscribe to the channel, and let's get into what the update is. So there is currently an ongoing restraining order against Reckless Ben and a few other people involved, but the main one we're interested in is Reckless Ben because we are waiting for that part 3. If you didn't know, Reckless Ben made a series of YouTube videos that you put on Patreon first, then released to YouTube, which showed the whole story of this Bricks and Minifigs scandal. Well, he had a part 3 and it's meant to be worse than the parts we've seen already, so there's definitely some things that we haven't even seen yet, but he's not allowed to do it because he has a gagging order on him. But Ben has actually filed a modification to that restraining order, and basically in it he said he won't harass or threaten any Bricks and Minifigs associate. So that is from corporate all the way down to the franchisee stores or anyone that is even remotely associated with Bricks and Minifigs, which I actually think is pretty fair because you're naming the whole company. So that means employees in stores, going near corporate, the previous owners, anyone that had anything to do with Bricks and Minifigs. But the big thing it means is he would be able to make content again. So he'd be able to release part 3, he'd be able to go on live streams, he'd be able to talk about the whole situation, bring out update videos, and we'd get a lot more clarification on what's going on. Now, this was submitted to the judge that agreed the restraining order against Reckless Ben. So obviously, was we hoping that he was going to agree to it? Of course, but it has obviously been denied. He denied the modification that Reckless Ben put forward, but that isn't the craziest part. The reason he's done that is ridiculous. The reason the modification got denied was because it was too broad. I'm not being funny, but how can that be too broad? He's saying he won't go near, threaten, harass, or go anywhere near anyone to do with Bricks and Minifigs, which is exactly what corporate and Mr. McNeff want. The whole reason for this was that he was to stay away from Bricks and Minifigs and that he doesn't speak about them anymore. Obviously, I know it would then allow him to speak about it, but he still wouldn't be able to go near them or do anything to do with them. So I don't understand why it has been denied. But if you picked up, I said this is the same judge, and this is the same judge that actually gave the restraining order against Reckless Ben, and in that it's very broad. So one of the reasons that it was denied is the fact that it was broad, but it means that he didn't name specific people. So he didn't name McNeff, he didn't name Josh, Brandon, any of those people involved. He just said Bricks and Minifigs. So they're saying that's too broad. You need to do specifics. Well, the original one is against Bricks and Minifigs. It doesn't name specific people, and it doesn't go into little details what they're saying is wrong with this one. So if anything, the original one was way too broad. It restricted Ben from talking about Bricks and Minifigs and going anywhere near a store or anyone involved with Bricks and Minifigs. The exact same thing that Ben has said that he won't do in this modification. He will not go near the stores, but obviously this one would then allow him to talk about it. It lifts that gagging order off him, which is what we all want. And I think, if I'm honest, this restraining order is ridiculous. I don't know how it even got passed, but that does say a lot about that judge. And I don't know, we've seen how corrupt the police are, we've seen how corrupt everything's been so far, or allegedly corrupt, whatever, but this smells fishy. Why would a judge give Bricks and Minifigs one for something that is very broad, but when Ben goes and says that he won't do anything to do with Bricks and Minifigs, except obviously make his content, blah, 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 then how is that too broad? Literally, you're exactly the same as the original one, so I don't understand why the original one got agreed and this one got denied. This judge is clearly a friend or an associate of Bricks and Minifigs or people involved with Bricks and Minifigs, because it just seems a bit odd. Like I said, he'd give the first one, but he won't give Ben his modification. And as we know, this whole thing has stunk of corruption from the beginning when the police got involved and how it was all dealt with, all the body cam footage that was redacted, then we actually got the leaked files and we've seen and heard a lot of the stuff that was said. It just all seems a little bit silly. Now, I don't know if Ben's going to re-put in another modification to say, well, these are the people that I won't go against, because that's what they're asking him to do basically. But yeah, who knows? Hopefully he does. Hopefully he gets this restraining order lifted so we can finally see part 3 or any information that he does have for us, because it will allow him to go on podcasts and stuff as well and openly talk about it, which would be fantastic. But not to mention, it also lifts it off of the previous owners that I think are on this one as well. Don't quote me on that, but I think they're involved. Anyone that's involved in this restraining order, I think it's Ben, the previous owners, and Brian. I think all their things would get lifted so they can all talk about it. So it'd be very interesting to see what some other people have to say as well if it does get lifted. But yeah, let me know what you think. Is this corrupt? Let's be honest, it looks very fishy. Is Ben ever going to be able to release part 3? Are we ever going to see the end of this and get Brian his Lego back? Ultimately, that is the thing. McNeff came out on a podcast, said he wanted to make Brian whole and wanted to work with Brian. There has been none of that. Nothing has happened in terms of that because of this restraining order and this gagging order. So lift it. If you want to make Brian whole, lift all this, get rid of all this, and just sort it out with Brian. Because if you don't, this is going to keep going on and on and on. It's just going to get worse and worse and worse, if it can get any worse, because at the end of the day, I think Bricks and Minifigures need to just start shutting everywhere. I know a lot of YouTubers actually have come out and said, obviously, still support your local Bricks and Minifigs, got nothing to do with them. I kind of somewhat agree, but obviously you are supporting Bricks and Minifigs, which is the company which is behind what's going on. So yes, these franchisee owners and the store people that work in the stores are not anything to do with it, but the company Bricks and Minifig obviously is. So I think they should all put in their own lawsuit against them for like whatever reasons, to say that they've hurt the business, you know, they're ruining their livelihood. Can we take the stores and the stock and whatever and change the name and run it for ourselves? I think that would, if they all club together, I don't know if that's something that can be done. I'm not a legal expert or anything like that, so I don't know if that's something that can be done, but if it can, then they need to do something like that, because at the end of the day, after all this is said and done, Bricks and Minifigs is done, and it's already getting that way anyway. So yeah, I don't know. Let me know your thoughts and comments in the comment section down below. Like I said, hype the video, it spreads it far and wide. Leave a like on it, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time.